Good afternoon. Today's lecture is devoted to problems and trends in pedagogical reflection. This topic is of particular importance because professional teaching cannot be reduced to the execution of methods alone. It also requires the capacity to examine one's own practice critically, to interpret experience, and to revise pedagogical action in light of that analysis. Reflection in this sense is not an optional supplement to teaching, but one of the conditions of its continuous development. The work of today's lecture is structured around three directions. The first concerns the foundations of reflection, that is, its definition and pedagogical significance. The second addresses methodology, including such instruments as reflective journals and peer observation. The third turns to contemporary tendencies, especially the growing role of digital technologies and emotional intelligence. Such organization is justified because reflection must be considered at once as a concept, a professional practice, and a field of current transformation. Pedagogical reflection may be understood as the process through which teachers analyze and interpret their own professional experience. It is not limited to recalling what occurred during a lesson. Rather, it involves an active evaluation of one's actions, methods, and behavior within the educational process. Its importance lies in the fact that such analysis makes visible both strengths and deficiencies. On this basis, the teacher gains the possibility of adjusting strategy and improving the quality of an instruction in a deliberate and informed manner. The educational significance of reflection is expressed here in two principal ways. First, it functions as a means of self-improvement, allowing the teacher to refine practice and support professional growth. Second, it contributes to stronger relationships with students and colleagues by developing empathy, attentiveness, and understanding. The statement on the slide is methodologically important. Teachers who reflect tend to achieve better results because they adjust their practice promptly. Reflection therefore strengthens both pedagogical effectiveness and professional responsiveness. One of the most accessible methods of reflection is the use of diaries and self-assessment. A reflective journal allows the teacher to record what proved effective in a lesson, how students responded, and what questions require reconsideration. Such records help transform fleeting impressions into material for structured professional analysis. Self-assessment serves a related function. It encourages the teacher to move beyond intuition and evaluate outcomes more objectively. In this way, reflection becomes more disciplined and more useful for subsequent pedagogical decisions. Reflection acquires added depth when it is situated within professional dialogue. Group discussion allows teachers to encounter perspectives other than their own, compare interpretations, and reconsider experience in a broader frame. Peer observation and student feedback are especially valuable because they reveal aspects of teaching that may remain invisible from within one's own perspective. Thus, reflection becomes not merely individual introspection, but a collegial and dialogical process. Two serious difficulties are identified here: lack of time and emotional burnout. Teachers often find it difficult to reserve space for reflection within the pressure of everyday work. Yet the proposed solution is practical and realistic. Even short periods immediately after a lesson may be sufficient to record essential observations. Burnout presents a different challenge. Stress can obstruct self-analysis and weaken professional judgment. At the same time, regular reflection may itself become a means of managing stress, since it encourages awareness, order, and greater inner stability. Another difficulty lies in the absence of support from colleagues, which may isolate the teacher and limit professional development. Reflective working groups are therefore presented as an important solution, since they transform isolated reflection to supported and collective inquiry. A further problem is excessive self-criticism. Reflection loses value when it becomes emotionally distorted or unfairly severe. External evaluation, including collegial feedback and student response, helps preserve objectivity and keeps reflective practice constructive rather than destructive. Reflection is increasingly entering the digital sphere. Platforms such as Google Classroom and similar tools allow teachers to share reflections, receive prompt feedback, and preserve records of professional thought over time. This changes not only the medium of reflection, but also its immediacy and communicative reach. The slide also emphasizes the emotional dimension now recognized in contemporary research. Reflection is no longer viewed solely as a cognitive process. Attention to feelings, resilience, and stress management has become an important part of pedagogical analysis. Institutional mentoring and collegial support represent another important trend. Experienced teachers assist newcomers in adopting reflective habits and methods, thereby strengthening the professional culture of the school as a whole. This is significant because reflection, when shared and cultivated institutionally, ceases to be a private exercise. It becomes a source of collective knowledge, professional continuity, and pedagogical coherence across the educational environment. Several conclusions follow from the material considered. Reflection is an essential process through which teachers recognize strengths and weaknesses and direct their own professional growth. Its effectiveness increases when diverse methods are combined, including journals, self-assessment, and group feedback. At the same time, modern developments indicate that the future of pedagogical reflection is closely connected with technology and with the strengthening of emotional resilience. Reflection, therefore, remains both a classical pedagogical requirement and a field of current professional transformation. Thank you for your attention. I hope this lecture has clarified both the practical importance of pedagogical reflection and the contemporary directions in which it continues to develop